All right, welcome to Rock Vegas, everybody. This is Glen Rockney here. Just me today, solo episode. Just wanted to, I don't know, talk about a couple of these moves that the Raiders made. One I liked a little bit. The other one, anybody who follows me on Twitter, at Glen Rockney, GlenRockney. Shameless plug there. If you follow me on Twitter, this other move, you know for a fact I didn't like. I'm going to get to some mailbag questions later, but these two I didn't get any questions on. So just bear with me real fast. I know the news is somewhat a little bit old, but the Raiders signed Kenyan Drake to some decent money, to be the running back number 2 on the team. Definitely seems a little bit on the surface level like the Raiders really are pissed off that they didn't run the ball well last year. I mean, you know, Gruden is like that's his bread and butter. He loves a dominant run game. I mean, you can't argue when he's got the run game going. It looks great. I mean, it's fun to watch. Jacobs' rookie year, you know, at times it looked unstoppable. Even that first drive against man, I was just thinking about the season opener in 2018. Don't ask me why. When Marshawn Lynch on that first drive just carries Rams into the end zone, can't stop him. Looked electric. Really thought Gruden was back. Wasn't that funny? Like how for like a drive, we were just like, yep, this is all we needed. So nonetheless, Raiders couldn't run the ball last year. This year, they want to make sure they can run the ball. Now, Kenyan Drake is a home run hitter. I'm excited to have him on the team. I really am. I'll get to my criticism of it in a minute, but this is a home run hitter. Josh Jacobs, for as much as we like, he's a single and double hitter, gap to gap guy. 300 hitter. All-star, in my opinion, running back. But he's not a power hitter, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? When the offense isn't going and you need that one big play, you need a home run hitter. You know, you need a couple of them. Henry Ruggs was drafted to be a home run hitter. We'll see. Darren Waller can hit a home run. But in the run game, Raiders didn't have anybody that could hit a home run. Booker wasn't doing it. Jacobs wasn't doing it. Richard's not doing it. But Kenyan Drake can take it to the house, man. It's impressive. He's got that one cut style. He gets that ball, he makes one cut, and pew, see you later. I like it. All Alabama backfield. You know, it's good. They want to throw the ball to Drake too. There's rumors that they want to put him at wide receiver. I'll believe it when I see it. Clearly, this is what Gruden wanted with Lynn Bowden. I'm on record on this podcast. My theory on this, I like to have my theories, my little conspiracies. People take them too serious. It's like, dude, I don't know. I don't work at the fucking Raiders, man. I don't talk to John and Mike, even though I might say I do to piss people off from time to time. I don't talk to them. This is just my half-baked conspiracy theory. But this one I had where I thought Lynn Bowden was a Mike Mayock pick where he's like, here, John, I know what you want. You don't think you want this, but you want this. Here's this jack of all trades running back. You can line him up at wide receiver and all that. But, you know, it didn't work out, right? It failed miserably, some might say. But the Chiefs traded before the season even started. I still don't understand that. But I think that was a Gruden pick, right? Because I think that's why you go get Kenyan Drake now. You think he's going to do the same thing, right? He's a running back. I mean, he's a better running back. Like he's actually played running back in his career at the NFL level. So he's a step ahead of Lynn Bowden there. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, if you're gonna look, it's clearly not an addition that a lot of people wanted. I mean, I spoke on it. I was like, I bring him in. I thought it was just going to be a 1-year deal. They gave him quite a bit of guaranteed money. It's about $5.5 a year. I think it can be up to 14.5 for your running back number 2. So it's a lot. You have a first-round pick and a running back, Josh Jacobs, and paying one of the higher deals in free agency this year for a running back for another one. So it's a lot invested at a position where people are investing a record low amount in now across the league. So, you know, there's something to be said about that. The offensive line, not really, I'm not super inspired by it. So, you know, if you want to fix your run game, you do want to have a good offensive line, but it's interesting to beef up the backfield. But Gruden loves toys. John Gruden is easily distracted. He's got eyes on the prize. Some people think John Gruden came here to mail it in with the Raiders to kind of like, oh, whatever, here's my money and, sit back. Like, they don't think he's actually trying. And the sad part is he is really trying. He's trying really hard. I just don't think he's a very good talent evaluator. Case in point, Raiders have a lot of needs, but he got distracted, right? It's like when you squeak the dog toy, when you're trying to get it to concentrate on something, you squeak the dog toy. Oh shit, it all goes out the window at that point. He's like, no, I got to go sign Kenyan Drake. You don't understand. So yeah, there's reason to be concerned there, but I'm glad that if he's going to get, super zealous and like really, pound the table for somebody, I'm glad it's somebody that actually has like home run potential, somebody that could really crush it on this team. Because look, I want somebody that can take the ball 10 to 15 times a game if you have to. You don't need to put 30 carries on Josh Jacobs a game. I know they want to. I know they actually have a pretty good record when they do. That's just not sustainable. So if you can get him like 10 to 15 touches a game, which I think is feasible in a Gruden offense with Derek Carr, I mean, he likes to check down. Checking down's not bad either, especially when you got somebody like that. So like the pickup, like the player, money's right. Team building strategy wise, don't really love, putting a bunch of resources into the running back position. But I think you have two really good players back there now. So that's fine with me, right? Matt Fallon and I talk, just get good players. Here's the one I'm mad about. The one I don't like. A lot of people are drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'll get to that. But a lot of people are drinking the Kool-Aid on this guy. I don't know what it is. This is Jonestown level Kool-Aid that people are drinking on this. I've never seen it before in Raider Nation. And we've been starving. I've seen some starving things. I've seen people say David Osbury, he stiff-armed a guy into another area code. True story, right? That's how people used to talk about David Osbury. No. You don't understand. This guy, the real deal. Todd Christensen part 2. You wouldn't believe it. I find this crazier. Andre James just got paid. 3 years, $12.5 million, $6 million guaranteed. I was expecting to open Twitter and everybody freak out like, oh, this sucks. No, there's people that are truly excited about this. And I don't know if it's excited as like a coping mechanism where they're like, yeah, this is dumb, but I don't know much about him, so that means he's good till I see him be bad. Maybe that's what they're saying. It's like how they say the most popular guy in town is the backup quarterback until the backup quarterback sucks. Maybe that's what they say with Andre James. But Andre James gets paid. He's being paid like a starting center in the league. Not a Pro Bowl center. I'm not saying they gave him that kind of money, but $6 million to a guy who's played, what, like 1.5 games? And okay. Here's the thing. The Raiders brought in Nick Martin. Nick Martin, I'm thinking, okay, I can live with this, right? Nick Martin grades out well as a pass blocker on everyone, too. It's unanimous. The guy can block. Run game, yeah, he's lacking. So I'm thinking what happened was Gruden got rid of Rodney Hudson and thought he could replace him with somewhat of a great value Rodney Hudson, guy who can pass block, not great in the run game for a lot cheaper, which, okay, that I still don't love disturbing number 61 and number 4, the continuity they have. I don't love doing that, especially with how important the center is to getting the protection calls in. But hey, I understand. I that made sense to me. But then you pay Andre James, and then I don't get it. I just don't get it. There were centers to be had in the draft. You could have had Nick Martin for a year, kept Andre James where he is. You didn't have to pay Andre James yet. That's the other thing. If you're gonna name him the starter, whatever. I mean, I disagree, but. And shout out Drew, by the way. Drew, you're in the lead. I know you're listening. You're in the lead. But he knows what I'm talking about. But there were draft centers, Creed Humphrey, guys like that you could have gone after, maybe even on day 2. That could come in and start year 1, compete with Nick Martin. But I don't get it. And what a lot of Raider fans are saying is this is like Waller, man. Like, dude, have some faith. It's just like Waller. Waller is not a sustainable thing, the Waller situation. You don't find people who are addicted to opioids and stuff like that and be like, here's money. There's not a lot of 6'7", guys that can run like a gazelle and have great hands and are physical that are like addicted to drugs on the outs with their former team. That's not a way that you go finding things. Now bring in Josh Gordon. I'm not saying I'm down. Like I would bring in those type of risks. I'm saying, but this isn't the same thing. Andre James Waller got paid after about 4 or 5 dominant games where it was clear like this guy's a beast, right? They didn't get rid of Jared Cook and then pay Darren Waller in the offseason without him getting a start, right? They didn't do that. Waller went for 13 catches for like what 136 Monday Night Football against Denver as his first start. Everyone was like, yeah, clearly he's a monster. Like clearly this guy was on drugs, was on a team that had paid their 2 tight ends and that are good. And then he goes on the outs there, got right, came to the Raiders, redemption song, right? That's cool. But that's not a reason to say that the Andre James contract is good. They didn't even have to pay him. I got a tweet that I was going to pull up from this guy. This is Greg Allman. He was just quote tweeting Ian Rappaport, who was tweeting the Andre James contract news. He says, Greg Allman's, and I don't know where he's from. He covers the Tampa Bay Bucks for the Athletic. Okay, stay out of Raider business, Greg. I don't know. What are you talking about, man? Why don't you worry about the Bucks, okay? Take your little Super Bowl app. Now you want to cover Raiders center situation. All right. But anyways, Greg Allman puts his 2 cents in, and it is valid. Not often you see an exclusive rights free agent lineman get extended with this much money. They could have had him for less than $1 million this year. And then even for a second round tender for 2022 is like $3.5 million, all for 1 extra year of control before unrestricted free agency. Yeah. They didn't have to pay him yet. Like I said, if you want to make Andre James, he's great. If you want to beef him up, I thought Groom was just beefing him up for camp, battle with Nick Martin, iron sharpens iron, I guess. I thought that's what he was doing. No, they paid him. They didn't have to. Right? It's not like he's on the practice squad and another team can grab him. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And like, I'm sorry, what was happening this offseason? Like, there has to be like practice last season, right? Because he didn't play. Maybe he had a couple snaps here. I don't remember Hudson really going out, but okay, I could be wrong there. But even then, what was happening in practice to where Tom Cable's like head over heels for the guy? Tom Cable, the guy who had the 24th ranked offensive line in the league last year. Sorry. Who's suddenly Dante Scarnecchia to Raider Nation. Look, I like the guy. I think he's done a fine job. I just like, he's not one of those guys you trust no matter what. I'm sorry. Like, but what happened in these practices that I'm missing? Is he taking Malik Collins and just fucking throwing him out of the stadium? Like, just, get out. Yeah, he's hulking guys out of the stadium. We don't understand. Andre James. Yeah, burn that Lions tape that he had. Andre James is throwing guys out of the building. Yeah, we're looking at Jim Otto here. This is Andre Otto that we're looking at. Yeah, no, trust me. Lock him up now because $10 million a year on the open market from any team. He's gonna have his choice. It's like, no, that that didn't happen. And that's just the thing about team building that pisses me off. I still think Nick Martin has a chance of beating him out for the starting job. But with Andre James getting this contract and Gruden's ego the way it is, you might still see Andre James out there at least until it gets real bad. Because I don't trust that guy to block Chris Jones. And I don't pay a guy to protect, the quarterback and snap the ball and then block a guy like Chris Jones until I see him block Chris Jones. I don't do that. I don't do that. So, look, I'm a little upset about the Andre James contract. It pissed me off a little bit. It made me mad that people compared it to Waller. I'm over it. That's fine. I still think Nick Martin is a solid pass blocking center. We're not hopeless there. So that's it. Let's get to the mailbag. Got a lot of questions today. Going to try to get to them all because they're all really good. Sometimes you guys ask me some duds. I've always appreciated it, but sometimes questions aren't that great. That's fine. So let's, where do we want to start here? Let's go with Tong, former guest of the show. He was on the Colts preview episode. Shout out Indie Film Scout. So he says, will Derek Carr be the quarterback in year 10 of the Gruden contract? I thought that was a very interesting question. I like these kind of hypotheticals. No, right? I mean, you play your cards right. You probably, or, if you play the odds, probably not. I don't think he's going to be the quarterback for the Raiders for another 6 years. If he is, it means they won something, hopefully. You know, a couple division titles or something. But I'm always fearful of changing quarterbacks under Gruden because I think it like kind of works with Carr. So I'm kind of like, okay, if we had a more, or just simply a better coaching staff, I'm sorry to say it, like I'd be more likely to upgrade the quarterback. But when I know Derek Carr can give them like 4,000 yards, 70% completion percentage, keep them in games, Derek Carr got a couple no decisions last year. He had the team in the lead last game, last drive. You yank Ryan Fitzpatrick's head off by his face mask. Things happen. But I mean, he's going to be here. He has a longer leash than I think Raider Nation thinks, and then like most quarterbacks have. Like the ones he's not even better than either. He's got a long leash with Gruden. I think once Gruden trusts somebody, it's really on them to look terrible, and not just Raider Nation doesn't like him terrible. I'm talking like really bad. And hey, with this new center, Andre James, I don't know. So let's get to the next one here. We will see. Oh, more car questions. Hot Wheels. What's going on, Hot Wheels? With Mariota getting a no trade clause and taking a pay cut, could you see Gruden telling him that if Carr goes 500 winning percentage again, that Mariota will be the starter next year with Carr being traded? That's an interesting question. That's why I thought Mariota was here last year, honestly. I thought Derek would, like, obviously they went 500, but I thought Derek was going to look a lot worse than he did. Because I'll die on this hill. He played well last year. Not great, not amazing. He played well. But Mariota's back. Just to break the news for anybody who hasn't been following, Marcus Mariota, they got him down to I think $3.5 million on the year to come back on a 1-year deal. He didn't have leverage to go anywhere else. I was talking about that on Twitter the other day. Like he doesn't have the leverage to go. There's just not the amount of jobs that starting jobs around. I don't think there's any really because the teams that are high in the draft aren't going to pay Mariota. But then there's also the backup jobs aren't going to pay $8 million. So I kind of figured, it sucks for the player because you're like, oh, what the hell? I did a nice job last year. I did everything I was asked to do. Well, I got to take a pay cut, but it is a vicious sport, and I fully expected that to happen. So to answer Hot Wheels' question, man, he wants Carr gone so bad. I think if Carr doesn't get better, which you might disagree, but he has every year under Gruden has gotten better. I think he's played better. It's just looked better. But yeah, I mean that's an option. You have a guy 2 years into your system, especially if Mariota has to play this year. Like if Carr gets hurt, and like I said, I'm scared of the center situation. If James is playing, I'm very scared. If Carr gets hurt again, just crushed by a nose tackle or something, and Mariota plays and they go 2-1, and Mariota has some big wins. Plays well, operates the offense, doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to at least think about it. You'd have to think about maybe giving Mariota like the Winston deal, Jameis Winston type deal, if that's the case. Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. And Derek's in the final year of his contract, but I'm telling you, if he plays any better, that extension, that extendo clip is coming out. Extension time. If he plays better, even if they go 8-8 again, I think if he plays better, they get an extension. But yeah, no, I think that's on the table, especially year 2 with Mariota under here. I think that's on the table. If the Raiders go 8-8 and Carr's still just whatever, or just about the same, not elevating himself in the system, and Mariota looks better. Okay, next up from Tier, shout out Tier at Tier Raiders 22. Did the Raiders improve so far this offseason? Or did they regress, or same old, same old? I think it's the same talent level. I think it's spread out a little differently. I think the pass rush is better, which we all like. The offensive line's not better. The secondary is literally the same. Like, that's nuts. They bring Nevin Lawson back. You better be playing in the slot, because B.D. Williams is the only reason I'm not cursing Nevin Lawson's name. B.D. Williams put some nice film together of Lawson in the slot. I think he played against Denver in the slot, that Raiders' best defensive game where they forced all those turnovers on the Broncos. He played a little slot corner there. Hopefully Gus Bradley's like, hey, just move this guy to the slot. It's a good, cheap answer in the slot. But yeah, it's same old, same old. I think. I mean, I think they did a good job with John Brown, getting John Brown in there to replace Aguilar. Nice deep threat and get separation. And doesn't have the yards after catch that Aguilar probably has. I think he's got better hands. And you got the health to worry about, but in theory, you should have your. I think they're going to get better in a way like this tier. I think like if Ruggs and Edwards are better this year, yeah, the Raiders got better, right? You got to look at it like that. I think Corey Littleton's going to have a better year this year. I think Kwiatkowski's going to play well. I don't know if he's like going to be better than last year, but I think he's going to play well, and that's good. If he plays well and Littleton plays better, Morrow's back. Morrow plays honestly marginally better than he did last year. You've got things there. If Arnett has a nice second year, if he stops getting concussions, um, Mullen, you'd like to see him have a nice bounce back year after some trouble last year. The guys they brought in, like Yannick, definitely makes the defensive line better. I think Quentin Jefferson's sneaky, a little bit sneaky. You got David Irving. I'd like to see what David Irving looks like under Gus Bradley. You got more pure pass rushers there, and please give me some Mo Hurst. Please, Gus Bradley, please say that you're a fan of Mo Hurst. It'll make me so happy if I hear that. If Mo Hurst gets his shot, I'm telling you, like a real shot. I think you're gonna like what you see, Raider Nation. But yeah, I think we expected more. I think we expected more improvement. I don't like the way they neglected the secondary, but I think it's same old, with some upside, right? You don't have the guys that aren't rookies last year. You still have the draft this year too, and the guys that are in their second year, maybe even guys in their third year, guys like Foster Moreau, being tight end too. Look, they got Derek Carrier, Foster Moreau, and Waller. I'm just 3 tight ends, please. One guy on the practice squad. Gruden, don't do it. But yeah, I think I don't see like an added win to the total on paper right now. I don't see that, but hey, there's a lot of hypotheticals with these. All right, let's go to the next one. Will Derek make it through the season? Rich the Raider Rich. Yeah, I think so. If he doesn't get hurt, I don't see why not. I mean, the guy really doesn't miss a lot of time. I don't think he's going to lose his job. I still think like literally everybody on the team and in the organization knows that the defense sucks. So that's what, hopefully they can get that back going, or going for the first time, I should say, under Gruden. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be some, other than Carr getting hurt and Mariota just like going off. Like if Carr gets hurt for an extended period of time and Mariota goes off, yeah, I can see a scenario where Derek doesn't get his job back for sure. But I'm not betting on that right now. I'm not betting on that. So, let's see who's the next one. Oh, C3MAZ, the Toilet Man. He dropped 3 questions. Who does this guy think he is? I'm answering one of them. Okay. Oh God, I don't want to do that. Will Richard Sherman be a great free safety or the greatest? Just the greatest. So he's saying will he be an all-time great or the greatest of all time? Richard Sherman coming in to play free safety. People have been suggesting that. I'm sure he could pick it up, but I'm hoping they just go get like Trey Boston and him, and then have him playing like corner, and maybe just actually having somebody, teaching people how to have accountability on the team, actually doing vet leadership on the team. Cause I think he'd probably be the best leader out of anybody they brought in to really come in and like, get on people's ass, like get the young guys playing the way he knows a championship football team could play. But yeah, I don't know about the switch to free safety. I'm probably not the guy to answer that. I think that's more like a BD Williams type guy, or, some other people that do film, Ted Wynn, guys like that. I don't, if they do it, I can't say the Raiders have the best track record of bringing guys in who are good at one thing and saying, hey, go play this other position. That would make me a little bit nauseous, honestly. Anyways, next question. Let's see. We're going to go with, A lot of Mariota questions now that he's back. Bob the Mob. Shout out Bob the Mob. Um, do you think Gruden installs something for Mariota in game plans this year now that he's fully healthy? That's interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, they struggle in the red zone. A lot of that is John Gruden. That's like where that meme where SpongeBob's looking for the maniac and it's SpongeBob, where Gruden's looking for why they suck in the red zone, but Gruden should be on the wanted poster. But nonetheless, I mean, Mariota does have to do more with his legs, right? We saw it in the Charger game. It'd be cool with me. I mean, I'd like to see that, like a little Taysom Hill action. That'd be cool, like in the red zone. Yeah, I hope so. I don't think he does. I think he's very traditional, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Somebody answered, if we're lucky, yes. Likelihood, no. Yeah, pretty much my answer, actually. Let's see. What else do we have here? From Matt Fallon. Wow. Never heard of that guy. Why does John Gruden hate safeties, and why does he hate defense altogether? Thank you. Well, there weren't any white ones available, so they didn't sign. No, I'm kidding. I was making a joke. Yeah, he called Eric Weddle, and Weddle didn't answer. Went straight to voicemail. Then just said, "Let's bring Heath back." It's all we got. But no, I mean, John Gruden thinks that Jonathan Abrams still good. There's no way he's given up on that yet. They need to get safeties. They really, with that Mariota restructure, it's interesting. Like you could say that that Mariota got screwed by the Raiders, but maybe he kind of screwed the Raiders over a little bit too by waiting on this restructure while all the good safeties got signed. They didn't sign Anthony Harris, man. That one, I mean, I didn't even hear about them putting an offer, being in on him or anything. And Anthony Harris only got $5 million, so even the rest of the league's like, I don't know what the hell we're missing with that. But yeah, it's the secondary. Just bringing back the same secondary as last year is nuts. And I've been a big proponent of corner at 17 is not off the table. I think corner is a huge need on this team still. I think you need multiple corners. People are like, well, I think Mullen and Arnett are good. That's great. Bring in a third guy. And guess what? If the third guy's good, you might have 3 great corners. What a concept. You play against Patrick Mahomes. Play against Justin Herbert, who looked nice last year. The Denver, I mean, what if they trade for Watson? Then you got those 3 in the division? You telling me you just want 2 corners out there? No. You need to be 3 or 4 deep, at least at corner, 3 deep at safety against that. So, hey, guy like J.C. Horton's there at 17. I don't know if I pass. Now, with Caleb Farley getting hurt, I think he had something with a spine. It didn't seem great. When that happens, I think the top 2 corners will be gone by 17 now that I see that. But maybe they go defense at 17. Maybe they're, they might want that tackle, and I know they have a need at right tackle, but it's also a deeper class at tackle. They might be able to get a Sam Cosmi in round 2. But what if Micah Parsons is there at 17? I could see that happening. Nobody else can, but I'm just saying, like, you can't tell me a spot where there's a team that just like takes Micah Parsons and nobody else before the Raiders. Like there's options for all teams, and you got the trade ups for the quarterbacks. So maybe they hammer it in the draft. Trade back, draft a defensive player, get 2 linemen on day 2 or something. I could see something like that, but John Gruden does seem to not really care about his defense. When he went to Tampa, that defense was already built. So he was like, oh, cool. That's nice. Thanks. So like, I guess, I mean, if you're going to give me a good defense, I guess I'll try to win with it. Like, but yeah, for a guy that conservative and to my point earlier about Kenyan Drake, the Raiders want to be this running identity team. Show me the teams that are horrible on defense and have a good run game. What is their record usually? It's not great. You got like Minnesota, right? Like a team like Minnesota. And I'd argue Minnesota had a better defense than the Raiders. But like a team like Minnesota that can run the hell out of the ball, a couple good backs back there, and doesn't play defense, non-factor in the league. So you got to fix the defense. Jim, next question at Forever Slump. Is there any viable upgrade at QB? And why should the Raiders tank for Spencer Rattler? I think he's saying maybe in the draft. Okay, for the draft this year, Okay, Spencer Rattler. I'll answer that part first. I love Spencer Rattler. He's awesome. I mean, I think he's going to be electric in the league. First of all, nobody's in a shittier spot than the Texans for their team this year. I think Texans are awful. I think they're going to be the worst team in football. Awful. They have 32 new players on their 53-man roster, and the players aren't good that they brought in. I mean, they're not difference makers. First-year head coach, got the whole Watson thing going on. It's going to be nuts. They were 4-12 last year and lost all that talent. So I don't think I just don't want the Raiders to be that bad again, because that means a lot more went wrong. A lot more went wrong. But, in a scenario where Carr goes down week 2 or something like that, and Mariota's just okay, and the defense is still really bad. Yeah, at that point, yeah, you pull the plug and you try to get at least in the top 5. But this year, I'm telling you, I one guy I really like is Davis Mills out of Stanford. Now, some people will say, oh, he's 11, or does he have like 5 starts? Or it's nuts. He has not a lot of starts, but I just think he's got the tools. I think he's an accurate passer, sneaky athlete at quarterback too. Not great, but he's got some mobility to him and kind of has a natural movement ability about him. That's nice. And really good arm, just really accurate. I think he goes to Stanford. You can't be stupid and go to Stanford. So you got to think you'd be a little bit smart there. And I think it's worth seeing where he goes in the draft, because I could see him I could honestly see him being like early 2nd round, but I could also see him being there in the 3rd and 3rd round pick. Raiders got a couple of them. I wouldn't pass on him. I wouldn't pass on him. That way you keep Derek for the year. You have Mariota and you redshirt this guy. You redshirt him. I'm sorry. I look. It's still better than picking Tanner Muse in the 3rd round, right? If you have a redshirt quarterback. A guy like Davis Mills, I even like Kellen Mond, in later rounds. If he goes in like the 3rd or 4th round, I take a look at that. And a guy Gruden can develop. Now, I don't have faith in him, but I'd like to see it at least one time during his tenure. Is take the guy, you have Derek as your starter, and you have this guy learn the offense. Derek is a free agent after 2022, right? Yeah. He's a free agent there. So why not get that going? Why not get that going? So that's my answer. I'm interested where Davis Mills goes, and I hope John Gruden is interested as well, because that's the way I think you'd get a viable upgrade in the draft without tanking. I really hope it. I don't want them to tank. Let's see. Well, okay, a few more here. When the time comes, I'm sorry, this is from Fire Gruden. Love the username. At _VVES_. Oh, this is my White Sox guy. My bad. I changed his name on me. It used to be something else. Yeah, I know what this is. When the time comes, will Gruden re-sign Josh Jacobs, or will he get the Mac treatment? Hopefully the Mac treatment. Jesus, flip running back for 2 first-round picks? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I would. I don't want to see him get a second contract with this team. Nothing against him. I think he's great. Love having him as the running back on this team. It's just not a sustainable way to look at Zeke Elliott, dude. Honestly, you want that? Because I think he's gonna do really well, especially right around the time his contract's up. Jacobs, he's a great player. Let somebody else make the mistake. Let somebody else make the mistake, please. Now, I think John Gruden might pay him, though. They're clearly building this team around him to run the ball. That's what they want to do. They want to run the ball. They run the ball a lot. The splits are, unlike a lot of other teams, maybe teams like Tennessee with Derrick Henry and stuff like that. The splits are akin to that, so they obviously want to run the ball. But I'm hoping that they don't. You win your run game by having a good offensive line. So that's my answer to that. I had a sidebar earlier too. Something I forgot to say. You guys want to hear a new conspiracy theory I have about the Rodney Hudson trade? Sure. Okay. Thanks for answering. Yes, you do. I don't think Rodney Hudson asked for a trade. It doesn't make sense. Sorry, this is the last I'll say on this Andre James Rodney Hudson thing. I think Gruden's getting cute. I think he's getting cute. I think this is we don't need Khalil Mack. We have Arden Key. Remember when those reports were coming in? When the Mack was holding out and it was Gruden's first year, we were still kind of like, oh, we have Gruden. He's back. How cool, And then you see Raiders have Arden Key and they really love what he's doing in camp, and maybe they don't need to pay Khalil Mack. That whole thing was happening. I think Gruden's trying to get cute again. Rodney Hudson in his introductory press conference with the Arizona Cardinals. Hope he does really well there, by the way. He's in the NFC. I don't. When you're in the NFC, you're fine. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I am. Ex-Raider, you're in the NFC. You know, obviously, and the draft pick's already for this year, so we don't need them Arizona to lose or anything. Love it. Go Rodney. But I don't think he asked for a trade because he was saying he was surprised that he got traded. And it's just a weird thing to say. And like, okay, classic Raider Nation, Raiders Twitter, be like, he's lying. Oh, he asked for it and stuff. When do you know Rodney Hudson to be a liar? In the time he's been here, where you're just like, oh, lying Rodney Hudson, that's his nickname. You know, you didn't know. He was like quite the opposite. Like everybody was like, oh, this guy's like a pleasure to be around, just awesome guy. So I think they pulled a fast one. They were like, look, I can get a 3rd round pick for this guy. I have this guy I'm in love with, Andre James, that we've been quiet about all year for no reason. Never talked about him until it was time. Till Rodney Hudson left. That was when we said we liked him. So I don't know, man. Some people are saying he asked for his release and even asking for a release, right? Your agent has to come to you and go, look, the team actually really fucks themselves over worse by releasing you, right? Because all that dead money, and they actually would take on a little bit more of the dead money. So it just doesn't make sense. I don't think he asked for it. Could be wrong. Hey, I know it's been reported the other way. I'm not saying that, but just ask yourself, does that make sense? Sound off in the comments down below, or tweet me at Glen Rockney. Okay, back to the mailbag. Sorry. Luis Felipe Chapa, longtime listener. Shout out at Lucho Chapa. Good, very well-informed Raider fan. Do we have a better roster this year or last year? Very similar to what somebody else asked. I think it's more explosive. I think there's more speed. I think there's more big play ability in it, especially if you get that jump from Henry Ruggs that you want, that jump from Brian Edwards. I mean, they've got weapons. I think they've got really good weapons. I think their D-line is a lot more athletic. And hopefully they bring in some playmakers in the secondary, like whether it's the draft or not. But I think there's going to be more athletic, I think a little faster. And I think Gus Bradley's going to simplify his scheme to where you're going to see players just playing with their athleticism within the scheme more so than trying to be robots out there. So that's my silver lining on it. I still think they're about the same. I still think they're an 8-8 team, but the roster's got a little more athleticism to it. It's not a bunch of, guys that can't bend and just, walking like Mario villains and shit. So, yeah, short answer to that question. Drew at Raiders Respect. Drew's got one on me. Drew thinks they love Andre James, and obviously he's right now because they just paid him. So, Drew, you win for now. I may win the war. We'll see. Should the Raiders channel Costanza, shout out, and do the opposite by starting 4-6 in order to finish with a winning record? No, because then you'll end up 5-11. No, I don't know, man. It would be interesting to see. I mean, because it's like if they start off 6-4 again, will we get excited? It's easy to say no, but I think we still will. Because this is different. I'm telling you, this is different. It's still 10 games of football you watch to where you can drink the Kool-Aid on your team. Yeah, that's funny. It's the meltdowns late in the season. It's just nuts. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't just win all year. Start out 6-4, end the season 10-6. How about that? Win the division, or 11-5 probably wins the division this year. But last question, saving this one for last. I really like this one. This is from at Rollicking Raider. I'm here for this, he says in his bio. How long you been doing a podcast and what made you want to do it? And he says, I'm over the Raiders related questions because clearly none of us know the answer. I feel like it's a little cheap shot at me. I know all the answers. How about that? No, you're right. I mean, it's like it's easy to speculate. Then Gruden does the complete opposite thing. And nobody knows. Even our beat writers, I feel like, are guessing half the time. And it's not their fault. I just don't think they know anything. I think Mayock and Gruden are plugged into NFL Network and ESPN because that's where those two guys come from. And, I think, Vic, Deshaun, all those guys, they do a nice job. I think they don't get the inside information. And, because I don't think Gruden likes being transparent. I think it's weird. But nonetheless, how long you been doing a podcast and what made you want to do it? So I have another podcast that I do like a lot more regularly, bigger, shout out Rare Candy Podcast. So I do that. And But I really came back to Twitter like earlier last year from this account, and everybody looks at my account and says, "That's not you. You don't look like that." My Avi. Everybody knows my Avi. Okay, if you listen to the show, you probably know what my Avi looks like on Twitter. It's clearly not me, right? Shout out to those of you who subscribe on YouTube and know that. But what was funny is I came like to Twitter, and I've had this account since like 2012. And what I was doing in 2012 was pretending to be a fake sports reporter, just fake, just putting out fake news, basically. Just trolling, like how Barry and all those guys, Barry McCockiner guys and all those guys do on there. They do the fake drops. But I was like trolling, right? So one of the funniest things I did with that account, and I was like, what, took that thing, pretended to be a reporter, said I was a freelance journalist or something. I was 22, very bored. Don't recommend it. But what I did was I remember tweeting at Warren Sapp, and I was like, damn, you tackled those hookers harder than, you ever did with anybody when you were playing for the Raiders. Something stupid like that, just tweeted at him, right? Because I think he got in a little trouble at a motel around that time. And he tweeted me back, or he DM'd me, and I can't find the DM, dude. It just didn't survive. I swear to God, this happened. The DM was like, ha ha ha, you have no followers, no one's listening. And then I said, you're listening though. And then he blocked me. So that happened, right? So I always had this account ready. I never deleted it or anything. But then when I started this podcast, I was just like, I'm just going to run it from this account and just as if it'll be funny, And originally I wasn't going to do YouTube. So, I do have that type of voice of that guy on the Abbey. So I was wondering maybe people would never know, but, started having interviews and stuff like that. And, went to video, but I just want to do it because I will say everybody else is annoyed in my real life of how much I love football and love talking. So, so I talk to you guys because everybody else is a degenerate Raider fan on here, and it's just fun. This is the conversations I have with Matt on here, Marcus Johnson, anyone else who's come on, or just how I talk to my coworkers basically, and how I talk to my friends and stuff. And yeah, it's just really fun. Really enjoy doing it. Shout out to the podcast. It's a year old now. And even when there were just like a couple people listening, like shout out Gus Gare, guys like that. When it was just that, I was like, whatever, that's enough for me. Like one person's listening, cool. Still don't have like a terribly high amount of listeners, but it's that's fine. It's fun, So yeah, it's been cool. I'm gonna keep doing it. It's not my main podcast. So it does take a back seat a little bit, but hey, during football season, I'm locked into football. So I'll always be around here. But this one I hop on. I do it when I can. Usually when I have a free night in the week, I'll usually hop on and do it, and I'm not gonna stop because it's fun. And some people enjoy it, some people don't. That's fine. Some people that buy Mike Mayock jerseys don't enjoy it. But nonetheless, that's it for me. I mean, I don't think I missed any questions here. Let me skim through the questions. I don't want to miss anybody's questions because they were all really good. But I think I got everybody's. Yeah, we're good. All right, Raider Nation. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's the Rare Candy YouTube channel. That's got everything that I do on there. But everything's tagged under Rock Vegas. There is a playlist. If that's all you want, that's fine. That's all you need to get. Rock Vegas playlist. I'm at Glen Rockney on Twitter, at GlenRockney. Definitely gonna have some more guests coming on soon. Like to do it solo every so often. Take it back to the old school days of 2020 COVID lockdowns. Just me in here ranting about draft prospects for the Raiders. They did take a couple of my guys, so I am gonna do a list of prospects that I like a lot that I just want the Raiders to take, and maybe they'll take another couple this year because I think with Brian Edwards and Amik Robertson, that might be two pretty good ones. So those are the guys they took last year. But that's it for me, Raider Nation. I hope everybody has a good evening, and I'll be back soon. All right, guys.